Leonardo Cornejo here with another video, recording almost immediately after the previous one. Because I am a man of his word and I am going to talk about that anecdote because it's really funny. Here's the thing. Back when I was in middle school, I was in this school where bullying was really the norm. It was really a bad place, to be honest. It was... if you have seen Pipkin Pipa's anecdotes of bullying, it was like 10% as bad as her anecdotes. It was a really nasty, toxic place. It was a rich kids school, upper middle class and upper class school. I was there because my father was a teacher there, and not a teacher for my class. That's an important point. Not my teacher for my class. He was for another class. He was a teacher there, and teachers had the privilege of getting their children at discount there. It wasn't just me. It's most importantly, it wasn't just me. And my sister too, and at least three other kids were children of a teacher. It was privilege teachers had that they could enroll their kids at a discount price. We were always lower middle class, and at our worst, upper lower class in my household back then. But the thing is, my father got this contract, basically, with this school, and it allowed us to study there. It's important. My father wanted the best for my sister and I in terms of education. God damn it! It doesn't show enough skin. I'm sticking to this one because this one is boring. My sister and I studied there, thanks to my father. But the thing is, my father wasn't very popular. I am not precisely the most likable guy. And I was, compared to the other kids, poor. In comparison to these other kids who literally were the children of businessmen and politicians. Some of them were not that nice with me, some of them were actually nice with me. It depends, varies a lot. The thing is, two of the kids, one of them was actually quite nice to me, by the way. The likable one. Here's the fun part. The likable one was very nice to me. He was one of the few friends I had there. He actually invited me to his house a couple of times. We played video games together. He introduced me to Metal Gear. I didn't know what Metal Gear was until I met him. To many other games too. And we found a lot of commonality in the fact that we both collected Bionicle figures. Of course, he had the coolest and biggest sets. He was that rich friend. He also got me into magic for the first time. But here's the thing. Here's the fun thing. That guy was black. Like literally a black kid. Not even as a racist. No, he was for real a black kid. He had more like a mulatto. He was mixed race. His father wasn't black, but his mother was black, and she had she was also mixed race. It's complicated, but you know, a phenotype. We are talking about phenotype, not genotype. That's the thing. His phenotype was full-blown African. That's the thing. It's the phenotype. We are not talking we are talking in scientific race, in scientific terms, not in race terms. He had a full-blown African phenotype. He had thick lips, he had curly hair, short curly hair, because he didn't want to have this full afro, so he would cut it short. He had wide ears. He was basically a mini Barack Obama. he was very, very African in terms of phenotype. Nobody used racist terms against him. We all liked him. He was basically one of the likable guys in the group. He was the one everyone liked in the group. He was the guy everyone liked in the class. But the thing is, he had this full-blown African phenotype. He basically, I actually often said, you're as cool as a Static Shock back then, because he basically looked a bit like this character in terms of his phenotype, but with a shorter hair, because he would cut it short to not deal with the curls. His hair was really curly. Here's the fun part. There was another guy with dark skin. This guy both had almost the same tone. This other guy, had a bit darker tone, but he didn't have the rest of the African phenotype. His lips were not that thick. His hair was straight. His ears were were smaller. His nose was not that wide. He had a more native Mexican phenotype. Here's where the fun begins. Well, this guy was extremely unlikable. It was not because he was necessarily a bad person, but his attitude, unlike me, who I'm an annoying asshole, a loud-mouthed annoying asshole, and I was back then. No, this guy was unlikable in a very different way. He was spiteful. That's one of the parts that made people dislike him. He was also extremely meek, extremely cowardly, a loner, and the only person I talked to was his girlfriend. Now, good thing he had a girlfriend, who was in the same class as everyone else, mind you, and that's another part of the problem. The only person he interacted with in the entire class was his girlfriend. He didn't talk at anyone else, he didn't talk to anyone else, he didn't interact with anyone else, and he was always guarding her. If you know what I mean, that's not a likable trait. Because when you are constantly guarding your girlfriend, when you are physically positioning behind your girlfriend all the time, you're bound to annoy a few people. You know where this is going. Nobody liked this guy. They put him really nasty nicknames, such as the Shadow, because he was physically shadowing his girlfriend all the time, such as the Evil Shadow, the Sinister Shadow, the Walking Shadow, in reference to the comics, and many nicknames regarding his dark skin and his behavioral patterns. But if there was something that stood out, is that the black kid threw racist slurs, and that you know what I'm talking about. And this other guy, that one kid who looked with a full-blown African phenotype, was flinging the most racist slurs at this other guy because he was annoying, and that was the only reason. He was annoying. Nobody liked him. Everyone was annoyed by him, and therefore they called him names. That's the thing. In general, they called him names. And since in general they called him names, and he was this annoying guy, and he was dark-skinned, this black kid is the guy who starts calling him all these racial slurs. It was it was really offensive, and it was funny because you have this guy whose skin was actually just slightly lighter. The difference was barely noticeable, and whose phenotype was absolutely a lot more African. They're calling this guy all these mean-spirited racial slurs because this guy was annoying and nobody liked him. So everyone basically disliked this other guy, and everyone was annoyed by this other guy. And this kid was, and this kid basically had a massive N-word pass on his face. So you can imagine the results of being the guy who can call this other guy that word. I'm not going to say it. It's not that I want to censor myself or anything. I don't think the word is bad or anything. But YouTube won't tolerate me doing that. And all these guys, were very influenced by MTV and American culture. So they were quite fluent in English. A lot more than myself back then. I developed my fluency in English because I decided to learn English to play video games. Back then, I was not that much of an avid gamer, so I didn't get fluent until like 3 or 4 years later. But back then, I wasn't as fluent as these guys, which also resulted in bullying. But here's the important part. Some of them, there were others who were not as fluent as me, actually. And they got hostile when I tried to defend myself with my... basically, I had a very intermediate level fluency, and they got hostile when I tried to defend myself with it. But the thing is, this guy, in English, hard R. To the other guy. This guy who had a heavy African phenotype. In English, hard R to the other guy with a lot less African phenotype. Out of spite. Because as I said, this other guy was extremely unlikable. Nobody liked him. He was disliked a lot more than myself, to put it bluntly. They were less proactive in their hostility because he was less reactive than I was. But he was actually disliked a lot more. To the point that basically the only person in the classroom who liked him was his girlfriend. The only person who actually tried to interact with him was his girlfriend. They at least bothered tolerating my presence, not his. It was very bad. There was a lot of bullying there. I wasn't the only target. Yeah, as I said, the only reason he wasn't a heavier target is because he didn't react enough, and they got bored fast. But basically, they would badmouth him, they would put adjectives on him, they would use racial slurs at him. And this other guy, who, well, as I said, I repeat again, had a remarkably more African phenotype, was the guy who started the racist slurs at him. He was the first one to use them at him. And that's the funny part about Mexico. Because they say, Mexico has racism too, because they used racial slurs against Claudia Sheinbaum. Dude, you have no idea. We are not racist here. We have a different kind of bigotry. We have a very different kind of hatred here. Where racial slurs are used not because you hate the race of the person, but because you hate the person at a personal, very individual level. So no, when they throw insults at Sheinbaum for being Jewish, it's not because she's Jewish. It's because they hate her. Basically, they target the traits they think they can hurt you with. That's the thing with Mexicans. They will target the traits they think they can insult you with. The traits they think are your weakness. If you are black and you are unlikable, the black guy will call you the N-word. If you are white and you are unlikable, they will point at your whiteness. Even if you are not as white, they will point at your whiteness if you are slightly whiter than them. For example, even as banter, as joke, as not real aggression, they will do it. For example, this happened to me. It's funny because it happened to me. I had this friend group where I was the whitest guy. I was the whitest guy. I just happened to be the whitest guy. There was another guy, almost as white as me, slightly less white than me, but almost as white as me. I was the major guy, the major kid. Because I was slightly whiter than the other guys. And that was the punchline, that I was slightly whiter than these other guys. And I was the major kid, and I was the guy who smells like major. No joke, that was a joke. I smell major. It's you. I was yeah, you fucking. And I used the N-word. This is another part of the fun with this. Here, I swear I put it. I will try once again. What is going on? That was part of the joke too. That was part of the fun too. That there were these other guys. Let's see if that way this things. I don't know what kind of bug caused it, but maybe it broke because it didn't have enough support or whatever. Anyway, as I was saying, and I will throw jokes at the expenses of them, telling them because you're the term prieto, which is basically it's the same as the N word, but when it's without the hard R, like it's basically that here in Mexico. It can be used in that context. It can also be used as hard R. Depends a lot. That's the thing. It's contextual. It's depending on how aggressive you are. But I was like, yeah, you fucking prieto. but we had almost the same skin color. That's the funny part here. We had almost the same skin color. I was just slightly paler than him. I was just the palest, and therefore I was the mayo guy. And my presence, as he said, his presence exudes mayo smell. because I was whiter. Because I was the pale guy. And that was the punchline. And I was paler than him exclusively because he used to go to the beach. Because he had a tan. It wasn't that. Basically, our base color was the same. I just happened to be the guy who didn't get enough sunlight. Because while I was a shut-in back in high school and plenty of middle school, he was the guy who did sports, and he was the guy who went to the beach. So he had a slightly darker white skin. And I was the mayo guy, and he was the prieto. That's the fun part. And it was banter. We were friends back then in college. It was banter. I don't know if he still considers me a friend, because after college we never talked again. But he bought my book. So I at least know he cared enough about me to buy my book. The thing is, we had almost the same skin color, and we were throwing banter at each other about it. And that's the fun part. That's how it works here. There is no real racism here. That's my point. That's the fun part. Here in Mexico, there is no real racism. Because racist slurs here are banter. Racist slurs here are jokes. Racist slurs here are something you yell at a guy just to make him angry because you hate him for another thing. Racism is not alive here. That's the thing. Racism is not alive here. It's not like in America. But, and this is something that many here, especially nationalists, because we do have nationalists, many nationalists here, there is something that we, because I consider myself one, protest a lot about here, and is that even though technically we don't have racism, and that's important, even though technically we don't have racism here anymore, even though we basically have tried to abandon racism, even though we try to not engage in the usage of racial slurs, lately, because of left-wing American politics, we have seen an emergence of racist views, of actually racist views, of actual racial hostility, mostly directed against white people, and actual racial resentment thrown for political reasons by activists. Now, we did have some, at different points in history, we did have some racial tensions, some racial problems, but they were not that way back then. We had some level of racial conflict, that it was more class-based between natives and other racial groups, because the natives were considered as poor and unreliable, and there were racial tensions directed against them. Um, but, and here is the important part, but there was not as much racial hatred directed at them as there was racial hatred directed at other racial groups. Basically, the average anti-Latino racism was never as bad as the average anti-black racism in America. It was never as bad. Not that it was good, mind you. Oh crap! I didn't notice. Not that it was good. It wasn't good, and that's for certain. It wasn't good. It wasn't as bad. We didn't have this like deep-seated racial tension. We just had people who didn't get along with the natives because of the race, because of racial stereotypes pertaining skin color. That's it. That's where I was aiming at. It wasn't just race. It was a skin color. It was that you had these dark-skinned people who were seen with distrust and disrespect for their race. And it is bad. I am not saying, oh, and that's excellent. That's a good thing. Like the left does with almost every bad thing that happens. No, no, no. It was a really bad thing. It was a really bad thing. It was a problem, I would say. But it was not the norm, and that's it. That's my point. It is not the how do I say it? It is not an obligated norm. It is something that happens on occasion. That someone who looks like a native and is also poor, because that's important about it. Someone who looks like a native and is also poor gets discriminated for his race. It happens, unfortunately. It is a problem, that's for sure. But I'm not going to pretend it's our fault. I'm not going to pretend it's something we deserve to be treated so negatively about, because it's a defect. To put it bluntly, it's a defect of our culture, because our culture has focus on socioeconomic status. If you are poor, if you are poor, here in Mexico you are scum. It sounds horrible. I know it sounds horrible. It's not something I am saying with pride. It's not something I am saying like something good. No. Here in Mexico, if you are poor, you are a scum. Wait a second, because as I said, I'm not Hassan. My cat wants to leave the bedroom, and I need to open the door. Here. I'm here. Let's go. Don't bother. Back to what I was saying. Unfortunately, here in Mexico, being poor is treated as being a scum. You are treated as a lowlife. And as someone else said, this guy, Cesar Hernandez, said, being poor in Mexico is a crime, punished with bad services. Public transportation is horrible, public health is horrible, everything economic is horrible. Being poor is a crime punished with bad services here. That's the thing. Not enough energy. Why does it say not enough energy? Because they are not charging yet. But let's wait. Being poor in Mexico is a crime, punished with bad services, punished with humiliation, punished with shame, punished with bullying. I know from experience, mind you. Punished with rejection, discrimination, with loneliness, with alienation. Being poor is a transgression that the average Mexican can't tolerate. And plenty of natives were poor. So the way they were often described was highly discriminatory because there was this focus on treating them like shit. Because once again, being poor is a crime that is punished with abuse here. And that's why, here's the important part, that's why in Mexico we don't have the kind of racism you have, for example, in America. We have a very different kind of racism where racial slurs are used to attack the poor, where racial slurs are used as banter, where racial slurs are used as a way to humiliate someone you don't like for whatever reason, and where racial distrust comes from the association with poverty. Basically, if your race is associated with poverty, you are discriminated for being of the poverty race. It's horrible. I am not saying I'm not proud of it. I am not praising it. It's horrible. But that's how it is. If you are from the poverty race, quotations, heavy quotations, you are discriminated and humiliated. If you are from the prestige race, you are treated with prestige. And it's important to know that because if you are from the prestige race and poor, you are still treated like shit. They just don't mask it as a race thing. They just are straightforward about how your race actually is not the reason you are being discriminated. It's because of your economic position, which was my case for a while. And you are treated like shit for being poor. That's how it is in Mexico. And as I said, bad services as punishment for being poor. I, for example, had this really bad experience with the businesses in my city, and many have the same experience. There's this business called Bodega Aurrera, which is a store for poor people. It's the one closest to my household. I don't have a car, so I don't like to travel a lot. So when I need to do groceries, I either go to the stores which are nearby, or if I can't find what I'm looking for there, I need to go to this fucking hellhole called Bodega Aurrera. I fucking hate it, because really it's terrible. I actually have begun to travel extra miles to go to this other middle class store called Soriana, which is a lot better, and I feel the difference. And that's the point. You're treated better by the employees. The products are better. The stock is better. When you go to Bodega Aurrera, the odds of finding out that what you are looking for is out of stock are higher than in Soriana. I started walking to Soriana because Bodega Aurrera sucks. Because Bodega Aurrera stopped selling my favorite mac and cheese, the Kraft ones, because they don't have tartrazine. It feels good to notice that your favorite mac and cheese don't have tartrazine. They have paprika. And the thing is, Soriana stopped selling Kraft mac and cheese. Bodega Aurrera. Bodega Aurrera stopped selling Kraft mac and cheese. The other store that sold it also ran out of stock because it's a grocery store that is one of these pop and mom shops called Cadmus the Aquario, which is a reference to the no joke. It's a reference to Cadmus of Aquarius, the Saint Seiya character. They even had a character at the entrance. The name comes from the fact that the son of the owner is a fucking weeb like me. No joke. I know him. I have seen him walking with this really cool Himiko Toga shirt. So yeah, the guy is like me. The guy is on my team, and that's why the store is named after a Saint Seiya character. But the thing is, that place, even though this not a chain store, but a pop and mom shop, this pop and mom store, they have better stock than Bodega Aurrera. That's the important part. They have better stock than them. I go there, and when I don't find something there, I usually go to Soriana. Because going to Bodega Aurrera is a fucking torture for me. Well, it has improved. In fact, it has improved because of the position, of the geographical position, they have been forced to improve in order to not lose the middle class customers. Because that's the thing. The store, before, in the 90s, Aurrera was a middle class store. The thing is, there were economical problems which changed the paradigm, politics and economics. And it became the lower class store. But since now they are afraid of losing the middle class customers, they have started to work harder on improving their services. Because here in my neighborhood, in my area, it was the closest store, and therefore the middle class store. That's the thing. Before, it was the closest place. You wanted to go buy somewhere, you went to Bodega Aurrera. Even if you don't like it, you went to Bodega Aurrera because fuck it, that's the only thing you have. You don't have much choice. You don't get to choose, actually. You have Bodega Aurrera and Bodega Aurrera. Or you walk to Soriana, which is a fucking bother. And that's my point. Walking to Soriana, it's annoying. Walking to Soriana is annoying. So either you go to Bodega Aurrera or you walk to Soriana, which is, in a very literal sense, walking the extra mile. So you walk to Soriana and you go to Bodega Aurrera. Or you go on car, if you have a car. But the thing is, not many of us have a car here, and that's where the fun begins. Because they have tried to improve their stock, their products, etc. Sometimes they even get basically the products that they sell somewhere else, they sell it there at discount, and that's why I every now and then still go there, because sometimes you can find the high quality, non-expired food products in Bodega because they were from stock of another store of the same company, but they want to get rid of it. And then basically, high quality goat cheese in liquidation sale. So yeah, I'm basically Saitama at this point. I go there for the discounts only, but for everything else, I go either to Camus or to Soriana, and that's the thing. That's the fun part. That's the fun part. You can start laughing because I go to Soriana exclusively because that's the only place where I can get my fucking Kraft mac and cheese. Like a walking meme, to be honest. I don't take things too seriously, but that's the thing. And I find, of course, other really nice things. I actually found all the ingredients I needed to make chili dogs, and they came out great. They came out great, and I'm happy about it. And they were tasty, and they were delicious, and they were wonderful, and they were great. Uh, you know who I am. You know who I am. Who I am parodying. That's the thing. I really have experienced what it's like to live like a poor man. What it's like to be like a middle class man. And even for a few seconds, thanks to a few of my friends, what it's like to live as a rich man. I have gone through all the positions of the economic spectrum. And I have seen so very little racism. And most of the racism here comes from leftists. Which is the core of what I was going to say. Most of the racism here in Mexico, in Querétaro, comes from leftists. Leftists are some of the most bigoted people I have dealt with. It's not even funny. They are so hateful, so bigoted, that I still don't understand. How can they say they are the good guys when they treat you that badly? When they say such awful things? When they are so spiteful? And meanwhile, the less racist people I know are the Jewish guy I mentioned before, my Jewish friend I mentioned before, and the open neo-Nazi who says the mustache guy did nothing wrong. Those are some of the least racist guys I know. Who, by the way, don't get along with each other, but they both tolerate each other when I am around because they consider me a friend. It's really funny when they say, you know what, I hate this guy, but I put up with him because I like you. Because I like you, Leo. Because you are a fucking idiot, but I like you. So I put up with this guy. And they tolerate each other when I'm around. And they insult with each other when I'm not around. But they put up with each other when I'm around. And I respect that. I admire that. I respect the fact that out of loyalty to me, they are nice to each other. Whatever, I'll leave it that way. They are nice to each other out of loyalty to me. I strongly respect that. I value loyalty more than anything. So I strongly respect the fact that they hate each other, their own words, not mine. They put up with me and have even kind of mellowed out around each other. For example, the neo-Nazi guy at least concedes, well, he's not Ashkenazim, I can tolerate him a bit more. And the Jewish guy is like, well, he's based, he's not woke, so I can tolerate him. So yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that they tolerate each other only because I'm around, and only because they care about me. Because that speaks volumes to me. That's loyalty. I value loyalty. That's why, despite my hatred towards Kaminari Clara, I don't expect Pipa to badmouth her. Because if there is a trait Pipa has, it's loyalty. Even when that means putting up with people who hate him. And even when that means sticking to people who cause her trouble. A trouble which she doesn't deserve and which these people don't cause her directly, but for example, someone disloyal would dump Kirsche without even thinking. The moment Kirsche started to get harassed. And an example of that is, for example, this company which was the sponsor of Rev, and the moment Rev got targeted, they dumped him. Someone disloyal does that. Pipa, on the other hand, when they started harassing Kirsche, what did she say to Short Fat Otaku? Fuck off! Fuck off! You harassed my friend. I value that. I value that because those are actions, not words. Those are actions, accompanied by words. But fuck off! You harassed my friend. You fucking asshole. I hope you go to the doctor and say, Doctor, I'm short and fat, and he will check you and say it's terminal. I respect that. I admire that. So that's why, and that's the only reason why I don't get mad at her for the Clara situation, because she's basically always juggling with this. Let's leave it that way. With this problem of basically having to deal with loyalty to one team, loyalty to the other, and trying to basically keep things stable between all the sides she's dealing with. I don't think it's the smartest thing, though. That's an important part. That's an important distinction. I respect her for that. I respect her decision. But I think when you are in this situation with divided loyalties, you're bound to get betrayed, or get forced to betray, or get forced to betray one of the sides. And I think that will eventually happen to her. And I fear when that time comes, because one side will understand her and the other won't. Fortunately, as Mongol said, that's not going to happen with Clara, because Clara is leaving. But that could happen with other cases, and maybe some do think it already happened with this convention where Kirsche was banned. But I think it was more like they talked in private, and it was probably like, hey Kirsche, I don't want this to fail. I care too much about FaZe to let this fail. And Kirsche was like, yeah, not a problem. It's not you, it's them. Not personal. It's them, not you. I think that's how it went. I prefer to assume the best out of all people, and assume that it was not Pipa betraying Kirsche, but rather both deciding business is not going to get in the way of their friendship. I think in general that's how they handle it. Business is not going to get in the way of their friendship. And I have noticed that in that regard, Kirsche deserves everyone's admiration, because she has done it in the past too. She has decided to go out of sight, to become invisible in a figurative sense, so that they don't target her sponsors, basically so that they don't harm her sponsors because of them sponsoring her publicly, to make sure they don't harm her friends. Basically, she's willing, and I admire her for that, she's willing to weather the storm alone. to protect her friends, to protect her relatives, to make sure her team doesn't get abused by these psychopaths. And they are psychopaths who will do anything they can, everything they can, without even stopping to think, relentlessly, to destroy her. She knows they want to end her life. She knows they want to destroy her. And instead of sacrificing her friends, of asking her friends to save her, she basically says, you know what? I'm going to hide. You stay safe. You don't have to carry my problems. I admire that. Because when I got in trouble, I was not that smart. And I actually dragged a lot of people down with my problems. And in retrospect, I'm ashamed of it. And in retrospect, I would rather never let that happen again. And if I ever get in trouble again, and that's why I don't like to ask for help, because the last time I did, I actually got people in trouble, people who didn't need to be in trouble. If I ever get in trouble again, I will not ask people to save my ass. I will not ask people to protect me. I will not ask people to be responsible for me. Because I don't want to drag them down with me. Never again. I will not drag people down with me again. I'm done with that. I'm never going back there. I did it once. I'm ashamed of it. I'm not proud of it. It's not happening again. So I respect that Kirsche does that. That's why I don't side with the theories and the rumors about Pippa and her cutting ties, about her and Pippa hating each other, because people make rumors, make things, make shit up, and I don't want to follow that. Because I know that malicious people make things up out of malice. I know that people tried to paint Gura as someone who hates her fans and means harm to us. And I know that there will be people who want to portray Pippa and Kirsche as bitter enemies and former friends. I don't like that. I want to assume the best of both. I want to assume that that Kirsche is willing to interact as little as possible with Pippa, to protect Pippa from people who hate both. And in fact, statements made by both on stream made me think so too. Because there was this this thing is so useless. This thing is useless. It's useless. There was this stream where, well, but I have to test it somewhere. There was this stream where Pippa was talking to her audience, and they were like asking her about Kirsche, about collabs with Kirsche, about collabs with third parties. And she said that she avoided collabs with third parties because they often came with drama, and that they asked for collabs with Kirsche. And she said that she didn't have anything against collabs with Kirsche, but she didn't want to get annoyed by people for who she collabs with. So she avoids collabs with third parties. She only collabs with Face because that's how she avoids harassment, basically. She didn't say it that way, but that's what she implied. That's what she implied with what she said. that basically she doesn't collab with Kirsche because both her and Kirsche know that that's how she gets harassed. That she doesn't collab with outsiders, with people who are no longer in phase, to avoid harassment for either of them. And you know what? It's fucked up. It's fucked up that she needs to protect herself so much and protect others so much that they need to basically stay away from each other despite being friends because they know otherwise Pippa gets harassed. And that she basically misses on opportunities with Filian. It was another one she mentioned. That if she collabed with Kirsche, people will ask her to collab with Filian, and if she collabed with Filian, people will ask her to collab with Kirsche. And if she she does a collab with one, people who don't like that one will go after her. And that they start making things up about her hating these girls because she doesn't collab with them. Which is, according to both, not the case. That's why I don't like rats. I don't like rumors. I don't like people making drama in their heads, making this whole soap opera in their heads, making this whole telenovela, because it's like a soap opera about Dumber, making this whole telenovela about the Roshis hating each other, or about the Roshis fighting each other, or about whatever drama they want to think. No, the truth is probably they are friends. They just don't want you harassing them. Fucking assholes. Now, if you ask me what would be the coolest collab I could imagine, the ultimate crossover, the Avengers Endgame of VTubers, it would be having Kirsche, Filian, Same Kosaba, Pippa, V, yes, V, a guy, Shondo, not gonna happen because she doesn't collab with guys, and Leaflet in the same collab with V as the fucking heel. That would be funny. That would be funny. That would be funny. And make me the heel. And the reason I would like to see that is because V likes all these other girls. That's the thing. V likes all these other girls. Oh, Mizuki too. Mizuki too would be really funny. Why? Because also there are some of there that are not of the same continent. Mizuki and V. That's also what makes the idea funny. Of course it's not gonna happen. Of course it's not gonna happen. And I'm not going to get expectations of it happening. But it's such a ridiculously funny idea. And you will say, but Leo, wouldn't you want to have Daigo doing that collab too? No. 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 I want to stay at a safe distance from them. I don't want to be recognized by them. If they ever recognized me, I hope it's for my writing. It would be really nice if someday Same Kosaba said, I found this really cool book by this guy, this Mexican guy, and it's about a cute wolf lolly. I would love that. I would be really happy with that. But I don't want to have a personal interaction with them because I'm annoying. I'm an asshole. I'm fucking toxic. I'm probably radioactive too. I'll be honest. I'm not the most likable person. I'm not the nicest person. I'm not the smartest person. I bring too much trouble to others and to myself. And what was I saying? I don't want to drag other people down with me. I'm willing to cause so much trouble to people I don't like. But I don't want to cause trouble to people I like. I don't want to drag them down with me. And since I'm going down, and I'm going down bad, because I'm a firebrand, and I'm an asshole, and I'm annoying, and I'm grotesque, I don't want to drag them down with me. Maybe a collab with V. Maybe a collab with V. Because V can handle it. Because V is almost as much of a firebrand as I am in the regard of controversy, if not more. If he's not equal and he's not more than me, it's just by a small metric. But the thing is, B can handle this. But I don't want to drag Saba with me. I don't want to drag her down in any sense. I don't want to annoy Kirsche with my annoying presence. Because I have an annoying presence. Even to the point that my sister and I joke a lot about how annoying I can be. I don't want to drag people with me. I'm going to hell and I am not taking you guys with me. I'm going to hell. That's how I put it. And not because of what I do. Because of what I say. I am annoying, aggravating, rude, confrontational, and I have some really extremist views. It's not even an exaggeration. I have some really extremist views. I am annoying, I'm rude, I'm confrontational, I'm mean-spirited. Oh god fucking damn it, not you again! And since basically I have so many defects. And it's the fucking bees, not the bees! Since I am annoying and I am a troublemaker, and I also have a really bad reputation because I am very outspoken about my views, about my politics. Basically, since I am politically toxic, as I said, I am almost as bad as B, but unlike B, I'm not that smart. I get in trouble. I get other people in trouble. That's my point. I'm annoying. I'm not that brilliant. I get people in trouble. And I get myself in trouble because of that. I don't want to drag these people to the hell I am going to. B is going for B where he's going to where I'm going. That's where we came from and that's where we are going. We come from hell and we are going to hell. He can handle me. He can handle Daigo. Everyone else doesn't deserve the punishment of handling Daigo. Because Daigo is an asshole. Because I'm an asshole. That's the thing. At least that's how I see it. Maybe you will say, no, Leo, you are wrong. You are a really cool guy. You are smart. You are brilliant. You are kind. Maybe. Oh shit! I already had one. Maybe you are right and I'm wrong. But since I think I am really annoying and a troublemaker and with a horrible reputation, I don't want to make Saba cry! I'll put it that way. I don't want to make her stressed. I don't want to make her annoyed. There are a few small amount of people I don't want to drag down with me and annoy them. And that includes RGE, that includes Saba, that includes Kirsche and Pete. And Mizuki too. Leaflet too. I don't want to annoy them. And I don't want to drag them down with me. But if I was guaranteed that I could avoid annoying them and dragging them down with me, yeah, maybe. But then I will have to readjust my schedule to them or them to me, and I don't want that. So yeah, no collabs for Daigo. No collabs for me. I work alone, and everyone is happy with that. No one needs to get annoyed by me. I don't need to annoy anyone. And I don't need to be annoyed by anyone. Because maybe in person they are not as likable as they are online. And I don't want to ruin the illusion. I want to continue for the rest of my life imagining Saba as this adorable, friendly girl, who I think she is, and I have been told she is. I want to continue the delusion of her being nice. I want to continue the delusion of being cool. I want to continue the illusion of Pipa being this socially awkward, nice person too. I don't want to break the dream. Funny enough, Pipa also said something similar about why she would rather not know Hiroshi. I don't want to break the dream. I don't want to break the coolness. I want all of us to be cool in our own way. And actually, when you think about it, if we speak of coolness, instead of breaking the coolness by doing a collab, how about we increase the coolness by consuming each other's content? Yeah, if you are watching this, Sameko Saba, don't interact with me. Stop watching this immediately and buy my books instead. I don't want you watching this video. It's horrible. It's bad. It's bad for your mental health. In fact, if you're watching this, whoever you are going insane. Stop. Get some help. If you didn't notice last week, you are going insane. If you didn't notice last week, your sanity has dropped drastically since the last time you watched my content. Stop watching it. I'm just kidding. Stop watching it. Stop watching it and buy my books. I'm just kidding. Half jokingly. Prioritize your sanity over my content. That part is not a joke. I repeat, it's not a joke. Prioritize your sanity over my content. For your mental health, prioritize your sanity over my content. If my content stresses you or annoys you, which probably does, stop watching it and buy my books. No, seriously, I would rather be known for my books rather than my content, and I would rather be known for my books rather than my politics. This is something that people seem to be surprised about regarding myself. I don't want people to know me for my politics. I don't want to be a right-wing political novelist. I want to be an eccentric novelist who also happens to be right-wing, but is not the core of my person. Now, what I want and what I'm having are not the same thing, unfortunately. And that's part of my problem. That's part of my current problem. I'm not satisfied with my position as a right-wing content creator. Because I think people are putting right-wing first, and at the end as a... how do I say it? At the end as a footnote, content creator. And I don't like that. I don't like the idea of being a right-wing first, content creator second. I want to be a novelist, not a right-wing novelist. Now that I don't have any choice at the moment is another thing. And I do think I don't have a choice at the moment. Why? Because the left is so fucking toxic that I need to gatekeep the fuck out of them. And the only way to gatekeep them is being very, very, very annoyingly explicitly right-wing. I know it sounds bad. I know people don't like that. I know it's unpopular. But that's how I see it. I don't think I have a choice in that matter. I think because of multiple issues, I have no choice but to be the heel. But to be the bad guy. To be the annoying guy. Because that's how I can gatekeep. Because that's how I can drive all these communists away. That's why I do it. That's why I am this vocal pundit. This one is better. No, more versatile, but not better. But I barely use energy here. By being this annoying, recalcitrant, aggressive, right-wing content creator who is this firebrand, this asshole, this annoying, opinionated asshole, I gatekeep. That's the sole purpose. I don't want to be that unpleasant. I don't want to be that unlikable, that toxic. I don't want to be that radioactive. I don't want to basically consider that my Oshi would hate me if she knew me. I don't have a choice. I don't think I have a choice. For multiple reasons. But primarily because I don't want these horrible people in my audience, these horrible left-wing people in my audience, these horrible people who harass others, who harass the people I like, who harass my Yoshi. And yes, they are leftists and they have harassed Saba. I don't know about her politics, I don't want to know her politics. All I know one thing. She has been harassed by the people I'm talking about. Since I don't want these people in my audience, since I want to gatekeep them away from my audience, since I want to make sure they don't get near my work, I need to be this recalcitrant asshole. I need to be this firebrand I am not proud of being, because otherwise they will come. It's not that I am not right wing. That's a different thing. I'm not going to say, oh no, but actually I am ashamed of being right wing. No, that's a grifter thing. I'm not that kind of guy. No, it's that I don't want to be an asshole. But being an asshole, should I put it here? Should I really put it here? I don't want to be an asshole, but being an asshole is the only way I can guarantee that these people who have ruined many things I like already won't get in the way. Hold a second, because my cat is calling again. And you know what I got to do? Where are you? He's not in the front of the car anymore. Anyway, as I was saying, you again? Seriously? I open, you walk away. I close, now you want to open. There you are. As I was saying, the only way to protect what I care for, what I have worked for, the work of my life, is to be the bad guy. It's fine, dear. It's fine, dear. Wait. What do you want? I'm here. The only way to fix the problem is being the bad guy. Is playing this role of being mean-spirited and cruel. I don't like that. But you know what I like even less? Communists. No, I'm not even joking. It's not even a punchline. I don't like the idea of having guys like this guy Bint, who literally harassed every single VTuber I like. I don't want guys like Bint in my hobbies, let alone in my work. And that's the thing. In order to gatekeep, I need to be that horrible. But I also make sure to be sincere, and that's an important part. I am being sincere. When I say the things I say, I mean them. Yes, I mean them. And if I don't, it's because I changed my mind. Because I can change my mind. Basically the opposite of Pipa. She once said, if I said something, I was joking. And if I was joking, maybe I changed my mind. No, if I say something, there's a good chance I mean it. And if I don't mean it, I change my mind. And if I didn't change my mind, because it could happen that I didn't change my mind, probably it's not exactly what you think I am saying. Probably you have misinterpreted it. It can happen, and it has happened, and it will happen. People misinterpret me. And I'm not saying it as if playing a victim, no. People tend to misinterpret me. Because I'm not that brilliant. And I sometimes word things poorly. Because I'm not that smart. That's the thing. I'm a bit dumb sometimes. And I tend to word things poorly. What is this guy? What is this guy? You fake a samurai. You fake a samurai. You are not a samurai. You are Yasuke. You are not a samurai. You pretend to be. Ah, no, but he's white. Well, you are white Yasuke. You are the Netflix version of Yasuke. Because if the original is black, the Netflix version is white. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, Netflix Yasuke. As I was saying, I'm really bad at explaining myself, at expressing myself. That's why sometimes I talk in circles. Because I'm really bad at expressing myself. You will say, but you're a writer. Yes, it's not because I'm a writer, it's because I have social anxiety. I can, as someone said once, you're good at explaining yourself when writing because you're not trying to deliver an idea. But goddamn it, you are a fucking idiot when you're talking. And that's it, because I have social anxiety. I get really insecure, I get really stressed, and start fucking it up. Start saying things that I shouldn't say or that are not exactly what I want to say. I get annoyed and say things wrong too. But when I'm writing, I'm with myself. I don't have to stress myself because there is no one else. I can take it easy because there is no one else. And that's the thing. When I am writing, I can take it easy because there is no one else. Because no one will judge me morally. Because no one will criticize me in a way that affects me. But when I'm not writing, when I'm talking to people, that's my weakness. Because I have social anxiety. Simply put, I have social anxiety. I struggle with talking to others. So what I do is being the worst version of myself. Because that way at least it works for gatekeeping. Yes, maybe it isn't effective at communicating. It's effective at gatekeeping. It's effective at being mean-spirited, rude, and insulting. And that way I scare people away. People I don't want around, mind you, but I scare people away. Well, the problem is that also gets me a bad reputation. People think I am much worse than I really am, because they see the ugly side. And that's why I would rather not have Mayoshi know me. Because, best case scenario, she will say, that guy's scary, he's crazy. Have you seen what he says? He's a murderous psychopath! I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't mind being unpopular, but I don't like to scare nice people. I don't mind being hated by some freaky transgender activist who talks about giving children hormones. But I don't want to scare nice people who don't cause trouble to anyone. Because it feels wrong. Because alienating communists feels normal and even natural. But scaring nice people feels like cruel. Feels like I'm the bully here. And I don't like being the bully because I have been subjected to bullying. I don't want to be the bully. I don't want to feel guilty about it. You can say it's crazy that I am saying that after all the horrible things I say regularly, but it's true. I don't want to be the bully. I want to be the heel, not the bully. I want to be the mean-spirited, cool guy, not the mean-spirited loser. I don't know if there is anyone out there who wants to be the bully. If you want to be the bully, stop it! Get some help! Seriously, you're not going to be happy that way. Long term, you're not going to be happy. You will be sad, lonely, depressed, you will be unhappy with your life, you will be short and fat and it's terminal. And yes, that jab was totally deserved because he's exactly that. He's trying to play the bully, he's trying to play the smart guy, he's trying to play the smart ass, and nobody fucking likes him. I don't think Pippa is perfect. I don't think she's a genius or anything, but I think if Pippa thinks you are an asshole, maybe you're an asshole. Why? Because she has social anxiety. People with social anxiety are good at detecting malice, and also because, well, she's just protecting her friends. So yeah, if you are an asshole like that, to the point that she says she hopes you go to a doctor and he says it's terminal, that's an important part. Because it's not just that she's judging you, it's how far the judgment gets. If it gets to that point, reconsider. Reconsider your life. You are doing something very wrong. You are doing something that is leading you to having no future, to having no friends, to having no place in the world, and you are not going to be happy about it in the long term. I know Devon won't watch this. I know he doesn't like me, and I know even if he, for some unholy reason, watched it, he won't pay attention to what I am saying. He will just discard it. Why? Because his ego demands so. His ego demands that he won't pay value to what I am saying. His ego demands it. His ego requires it. That he antagonizes everyone who disagrees with him. Everyone who disagrees with him is his enemy. Which is such a sad life, by the way. He's not happy that way, I think. Me thinks you're not happy that way, boyo. Didn't work. Anyway, I was just trying to remove that notification. I'm going to break them. Now that they are dismantled, I'm done. I don't think he's happy the way he's living. I don't think he's happy that way. Because he betrays all his friends. Recently, I found out that a guy I know who sees him as a friend. Well, that this guy promised him a podcast. And I don't know if there is a podcast. He promised him a podcast. Lol, Sameko. I named that one Sameko because it looks like a fish. And when I found her, she started firing at me. There were two, both females. One is named Sameko. The other is named Kuba. When I found them, for some reason both had guns and started firing at me. So I captured them, and I named one Sameko and the other Kuba. And for some reason, Sameko really acts like Sameko. She suddenly gets depressed, gets tired of working, and stops working. And I can't judge her for that. I'm a terrible leader. Back to what I was saying. No. You need to rest. If you want work, you need to rest. You need to rest, fish. Back to what I was saying. Devon promised this guy a podcast. They told me just last week. He promised this guy a podcast. And the guy was like, yeah, I'm going to be famous with a podcast. And there is no podcast. And everyone was laughing at him. But I felt sorry for him. I felt really sad because I was thinking, dude, this guy sees Devon as a friend. And what does he get in return? Everyone in his circle bullies him because nobody in his circle likes Devon, justifiably so. Everyone in his circle has formed some level of hostility at him because they hate Devon and because they don't agree with Devon on almost anything. And Devon gives him nothing in return, and he keeps staying loyal to him, which I admire, by the way. I respect loyalty, even when it is someone I don't like. I respect loyalty. I admire loyalty. I respect that of him. That's why I'm not bringing his name up. I'm not name calling because I respect him enough to not name call. And that's the thing. I respect him in that regard because I respect loyalty. But I feel sad and I feel bad when I see someone showing loyalty and not getting loyalty back. Reciprocity, to me. I'm going back there because I forgot if I fixed something there. Reciprocity, to me, is essential, is important for all interactions and all relationships. If there is no reciprocity, something is wrong. And that's the thing. I respect the fact that this guy is loyal to Devon, even though I absolutely hate Devon. And even though I think his loyalty is misplaced. Because I value loyalty. But I don't like the fact that Devon basically used him and discarded him, as he does with everyone. Because I value loyalty. And loyalty comes with reciprocity. And if you are not reciprocal to your loyalty, that bothers me. Bothers me a lot. And that's why I hate Devon. Because he's a piece of shit and also he's disloyal. Because I mean seriously, when you get in the line, when you get the risk of being verbally humiliated and laughed at for defending a fucking imbecile, the least that imbecile should do, and I say that as an imbecile, is being loyal to you. Is saying, you know what? I have gotten you in trouble. In return, I'm willing to take the brunt if you are ever in trouble. I have made you fight your friends. I'm willing to fight my friends if it ever comes to it, to support you. That I can respect. That's not something I will see from Devon in this context. I don't expect to see it, at least. I don't think it will happen. I don't think he's that kind of man. I don't think he is man enough to do that. Because I think he's an asshole and an idiot. And also because he's a leftist. And leftists are not loyal. It's in their nature to be disloyal. In fact, even if they are not exactly leftists, even if they are not exactly left-wing, if they are not loyal, if they have no loyalty, no, I mean, if they are even if they are only slightly like right left wing, if they are leftists, sorry, I had a lapsus. If they are leftists, they are not loyal. Even if just slightly left leaning, for example, a vegan, a communist, a socialist, they are not going to be loyal. And I know from experience because it happened to me. Because I used to, past tense, emphasis on past tense, have left-leaning friends. Past tense. They all betrayed me. Currently, not a single one of my friends, of the friends I trust, is left-leaning. Because all the friends I had, who were vegans, who were offline friends, I don't know the full story of my online friends. I don't know the full politics of my online friends, but I am talking specifically about offline friends. All my offline friends who were leftists betrayed me, turned against me, abandoned me, or even sabotaged me and defamed me. All of them. All of them went from friends to enemies, if not worse. All of them. The few that did not is because I didn't give them the chance. Because they said some really abhorrent things that I couldn't tolerate. Like, celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk and things on that level. That to me is when I burn bridges. When I see something that horrible, I burn bridges. Celebrating that time Donald Trump got shot, for example, one of them was celebrating that time when he got shot. I burn bridges when someone is that unnecessarily cruel. And as a result, well, no longer my friend. That's the thing. No longer my friend. Because of that, I don't have a single leftist friend anymore. Because the few that were still, in quotations, friends, did some things I cannot forgive. And the many who did not such things yet, when I cut ties with them, I had to cut ties with them because I found them just too. I had to cut ties with them. No, sorry, another lapsus. I had to cut ties with them because they betrayed me, because they began to act against my interests, because they began to speak against me, and I cannot tolerate that. And it's not as in, oh, you spoke against me, we are enemies now. It's as in, they began to speak against me because they, in their own words, never saw me as a friend. In their own words. They never saw me as a friend. That's why I'm saying it. leftists are not loyal. If a leftist says he's your friend, he's not. He has benefits from pretending to be your friend. He's not your friend. He will act against your interests. He will act against your goals. He will treat you badly. And when you lower your guard, he will turn against you. And that is if he doesn't turn other people against you. That's my experience with leftists, in quotations, friends. They are not friends. At least not real friends. They are, at best, what is called fair weather friends. Allies of convenience, at best. Usually just enemies. Just plain and simple enemies. They are not friends. They are incapable of loyalty. They are incapable of love. They are incapable of friendship. Because leftism goes first. And it's fucked up. It's fucked up when someone who literally, in her words, says, I will never betray you. I will always be there for you. I will always stand for you because I know what it's like to be betrayed and abandoned. Invites you to her wedding and just months later says that you are not leaving her anything in return, that she's not gaining anything from you, that she no longer likes you, and all that after she already started cutting you and doesn't explain you why until you ask her, dude, why are you treating me like that? Why are you treating me like that? Oh, because you don't leave any, you don't give me anything. Because I think you are not giving me anything in my life, and I need to improve my life. That's not loyalty. And I value loyalty. I think that's so fucking uncool to dump someone in such a way. Without even talking things out first. Because if you said, dude, I already told you to stop doing this shit and you don't stop. Yeah, I get it. I get it. If someone wears your patience down because you talk to this person and tell this person to stop doing something stupid, yeah, I get it. And I am not saying I'm exempt from that. I'm not saying there is no chance I could be the guy who is annoying and troublesome and needs to get his shit together. Maybe I am. I'm not saying I am not. Maybe I am. Maybe I need to get my shit together. I don't know. I think I'm trying. At least I'm not saying I do. I think I'm trying to get my shit together. But maybe I haven't. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I need to. But I haven't. I'm open to the possibility that there are things that are wrong with me. But yes, maybe I'm wrong in many aspects. And I need to improve that. And I need to figure out what's wrong with me. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's the case. But if you don't tell me that, if you don't tell me that sincerely and straight, how the hell am I supposed to know what I'm doing wrong? I'm not saying I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm saying I'm not smart enough to get it without being told. I'm saying, how am I supposed to know I'm fucking up when you don't tell me, dude, you are fucking up? And other friends have told me that. Other friends have told me, dude, you are fucking up. You're an idiot. In the words of one of them, Wey, le estás cagando. It's one of the guys who still stick to me. He didn't dump me. He just said, Wey, la estás cagando. He didn't cut ties with me, he didn't stop talking to me. He told me I was fucking up. And told me how to stop fucking up. And I'm trying my best to follow his advice. And that's the thing. That's the difference. That guy who was straightforward and said, "Güey, le estás cagando," told me how to stop fucking up when I was fucking up. This other friend who said, "I'm sticking with you through thick and thin. You are my friend and I will never betray you, and you better don't think I am going to betray you." Dumped me because, in her words, I'm not giving her anything in return, I don't benefit her, and she doesn't know why she sticks to me. Dude, if I'm doing something wrong, just tell me, just give it to me straight. In order for one to learn from his mistakes, one must know what his mistakes are. But no. The difference? This guy is a based, a conservative alcoholic, and the other is a vegan. That's the difference. That's the difference. The friend who sticks with me, tolerates my stupid antics, and just tells me when I'm fucking up is a right-wing alcoholic. And the one who dumped me like I'm some sort of disposable retard is a vegan. God fucking damn it, dude. God fucking damn it. And yes, I do resent that. And I think I have the right to be resentful. I think I have all the right to be resentful about that. Because, dude, I don't know about you, but I don't like to be abandoned. I don't know about you, but I don't like to be betrayed. I don't know about you, but I don't like to be lied to. And if someone says, "I'm standing for you," I have expectations of that person standing for me for real. And if that doesn't happen, I'm going to be justifiably, in my opinion, angry. And resentful. And spiteful. Because, dude, I did my best to be a good friend. And if my best wasn't enough, instead of treating me like shit, you could have told me, "Wey, estás cagando." Just like the other guy. It wouldn't be the first time I hear it. I got used to it. You get used to it after the third time. But the good and wonderful thing about being told, "Dude, you're fucking up," is that you learn to stop fucking up in that part. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. No one is. The good thing is, neither of them is probably going to watch this. Why? Because the vegan really cut me off. And the other guy doesn't speak English. And doesn't understand it fully. Barely understands any. To be honest, it's surprising how the guy who is basically an illiterate alcoholic, a hyper-conservative right-winger, well, he's not illiterate. He's not illiterate. Uneducated, because he never got a college degree. He barely finished high school. Uneducated, but quite literate actually, because even despite not understanding English by ear, he can read it. That's an important part. He can't speak it. He can't listen to it. He can read it. How do I know? He's a Warhammer fan. He's the guy who made me aware of Warhammer, by the way. I didn't know Warhammer existed until I met this guy. He's a really big fan of Warhammer. In fact, he's not doing well in terms of money, but when we met, he wasn't doing well in terms of money either. That's a constant, because of his alcoholism part and because of other problems. But, and here's the important part, the fun part, the cool part about him. He's the guy who introduced me to Warhammer. But most importantly, he's a really, really, really hard fan of Warhammer. And he wanted to buy a set. He didn't. It's important, he didn't. But he wanted to. And he wanted to buy a set for me too. That's very generous. He wanted to buy a set for me too, a set of miniatures. We were picking them and making a budget. The problem is neither of us managed to get enough money. But he was going to buy Marines. He wanted also to buy for other friends. One of his friends was going to buy, wanted to get Eldar. I wanted to get Tyranids, and my sister was considering getting Sisters of Battle, Adeptus Sororitas. And he was considering Sororitas too, but he primarily wanted Marines. And that's the thing, we were talking about which sets we were interested in. And the plan was making enough money to buy all the sets together. None of the four made enough money to fulfill the goal. Basically, we were going to save money and gather it in a single account who will buy all the sets online. Nah, none of us got there. And by the time we had enough money for that, for one set, or even for all, he had given up on that goal because he had children now and he couldn't afford playing in all senses. My sister bought a house, and I bought a PC. It's a rather sad story, but not that sad. It's one of those sad stories with a positive side, because I bought a PC. The other guy unfortunately passed away. Sadly, he passed away years before that. My sister bought a house, and he had to put the money in taking care of his children. But the thing is, he is the guy who introduced Warhammer to me. He read the books. That's the important part. He got interested in Warhammer through the novels, which he read in English. He couldn't speak it. He can't listen to it, but he can read it. I don't know if he bought my books. I hope he did. But he did say it would be cooler if they had a comic book style cover. And even told me about a comic book artist he liked. I told him, no, that's not the style I want to do. So he at least knows they exist. And he's one of the guys who stick to me. The only possibility is that he hasn't read them because of the money. And because he doesn't know how to use Amazon properly. But he, in terms of language, he can read English, he just can't speak it or listen to it. So odds are he's not watching it. And the other person, odds are, won't ever watch my content anymore because was subscribed to my channel and unsubscribed. So basically, burnt bridges entirely. We are never going to see each other again. And that's better for me. As I said, leftists are not loyal. They don't understand loyalty. They don't see loyalty as anything but a tool for their benefit. Because that's how their ideology works. Because that's how their values work. Because that's how their culture works. Because they believe in other values. In social justice. In equality. Intolerance. False tolerance, mind you. And in the case of vegans, in animals being equals to humans. I don't agree with that. I love animals. I like animals. Every now and then, while eating a cheeseburger, I think This thing had hopes and dreams, and now it's in past tense because of me. So I better be my best self to honor its death. Yes, that's how I see it. This thing had hopes and dreams, which are gone because of me. And the only way to treat things, to do things, is honoring that death by being my best self every day. That's how I live with it. Why? Because life is valuable. I don't like this idea of, oh, I am this godlike being, so I can eat anything I want and fuck animals. No, no, no. I love animals. I love life. I also know, for my health, for my survival, for my well-being, I need to eat their flesh. And I won't let that twist into guilt. Instead, I will say it, I will stand by it, and say, yes, it's an honor to eat them. They are now a part of me. Yes, their futures, their lives, their hopes and dreams are gone, but they are not. Because they are with me. Because I will carry them with me forever. Because they are now me. And I will honor that by being my most awesome self, by doing the best I can in everything, and never, ever, ever accept defeat. And God damn it, I want to catch that guy. I want to catch him. I want to catch him. Don't kill him. Whatever you do, don't kill him. Focus on the other guys. God damn it, he's dead. Oh no. God damn it, he's dead! I wanted to catch him. I think it belongs to that other guy. I wanted to steal him. I'm angry. It's kill time. So I was saying, that's my belief. It's not that I hate animals or that I consider animals as worthless. I don't consider them equal. Like I don't consider them inferior as in, oh, they are worthless than myself. No, I consider that humans eat flesh. Life has value. And we end alive to survive. That's why I don't like animal abuse. That's why I don't like this wasteful form of sports hunting where it has no other purpose than killing. I don't have anything against hunting, but I have everything against the kind of hunting that is only killing without any other purpose. And for example, I will say purpose may include killing as the end result and as this purpose, but for a kind of higher purpose. For example, if you want to, for example, get rid of an invasive species, if you want to control the population of a species, yes, hunting becomes the purpose itself in a noble way. But for example, like this kind of hunting where the goal is killing and just killing, yeah, I'm against that. But well, thank you for another week of wasting your time with me. Buy my books. Have a nice day, and the next one is certainly Daigos.